I'm not saying it's happening now, but once SPX breaks down and goes in a capital rotation event is confirmed, and then it starts going in a secular bear era, you got to be very, very wary.
We're setting a bit of a historic precedent here.
Was it really that event that caused the rally to go up?
The economy is going to start suffering pain.
That's going to be bonkers.
Okay, guys, it's Kevin Wadsworth and Patrick Karim from Northstar Badcharts.com. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to listen to what Pat has to say about Bitcoin tracking SPX and what that means for Bitcoin, particularly after a capital rotation event. Pat, do you want to explain all for us?
Of course, guys. So right before I jump into the charts, because I know you guys, you want to get those visuals, you got to expand your vision, right? Because there's always new asset classes out there. And let's say everybody has Bitcoin on their minds right now. But if you look at the chart, Bitcoin's been there, since 2009, and it's always been going up. But you got to zoom out because there's capital flows driving all these asset classes. Even if you think something's unique in your asset class, whether it's a new stock, it's a new AI thing, it's a new concept that wasn't there before. If you look at the charts, you can see when a chart tracks another chart, you could start saying, okay, there's capital flows, there's these higher time frame, macro economics, more important capital flows carving out these price charts. Because you could just look at the let's say at the oil companies in the energy sector. I could overlay some of these charts. They'll all look like the ensemble of them, most of them, right? Different management, different regions of the world, but their charts look the same. You got to ask yourself why. Well, it's because it's capital flows going to a sector that feeds all the instruments under. So once you understand that and you want to see, okay, well, Bitcoin's been going up. What could possibly happen? What are the probabilities of Bitcoin's future if SPX enters a bear market? What if we have a capital rotation event where SPX breaks down versus gold? What's Bitcoin going to do pricing gold, right? This is going to help you. I hope it helps you crystallize that what has kept happening for the past 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, it's not necessarily that's going to happen later on, right? There's these macro, these bigger cycles, these bigger time frame cycles that happen 3-4 times in 100 years, right? And if you're aware of these macro cycles, you got to be really, really careful of always hoping that your instrument will keep performing the way it has been, right? There's periods where they will have more headwinds instead of tailwinds, and that could change your performance, right? You might start underperforming other assets, other sectors. So if you want to be an astute investor, you want to be aware of these macro capital flows. So look at my chart, guys. Here's the Bitcoin chart, right? Look at 2012, a little bit before. Beautiful bull run, right? Is when everybody, some people say the best performing assets of all time. I'm not quite sure about that, but from a small, when you're worth less than $1 and you go up there in percentage gains, it's huge. So it's been in a beautiful bull run since 2011, 10, 9. Then I want to showcase you, even within that bull run, it's had some crazy, crazy drawdowns, right? Here, 80%, 75, 86, 84, 72. A lot of times it's had these huge pullbacks in a bull era, right? So it's in its own bull era, it's had to overcome these crazy drawdowns. And you got to remember, an 86% drawdown, you have to go up, not 86%, right, to break even. You have to go up multiples of that just to break even. So this is rough stuff, right? Nobody should ever have to hodl through these severe drawdowns. And that's in a bull era. All this is a bull era for US stocks, for US speculative growth, for NASDAQ, and for Bitcoin. Because look below right here. Here I had the SPX, guys, since I zoomed in here in 1996. And I overlaid here Bitcoin. Bitcoin, look at the ups and downs, guys. From a bird's eye view, it tracks the capital flows that goes to SPX, the money supply, whatever's feeding the growth speculative stocks. Bitcoin tracks it. So it's going up and up. So you've never seen Bitcoin in a US equities bear market like A here. This is the .com bubble. In nominal terms, in fiat denominated, SPX went down 50% in the .com bust. For a couple of years, it took before bottom. Back in the 2008, it tried to get back here. It failed to continue upwards above the 2001 highs. It went down 57%. So imagine, put yourself in your head. Let's say Bitcoin its inception was 1995, right before, and it tracked here. What do you think would have happened to Bitcoin here? It would have went down, right? And it went down probably even more than it did in these drawdowns here, because now it has headwinds because the SPX, those capital flows are leaving the SPX, right? It went sideways. So you'd have to expect Bitcoin would have went sideways for the same period of time practically that most of the stocks in that index would have went through. I'm not saying it's happening now, but once SPX breaks down and goes in a capital rotation event is confirmed, and then it starts going in a secular bear era, you got to be very, very wary. So I'm going to zoom out, guys. I'm going to show you. Here's another chart. This is SPX price in gold. So I showed you the fiat denominated version, right? What happens price in gold? Because when we have, remember guys, if you have these capital rotation events, it's SPX breaking down versus gold. And if that happens, that means gold's outperforming SPX, silver, uranium, crude oil, copper, insert your favorite commodity. It's going to be in a bull market going up and a bull era outperforming SPX. But look at this. In the 1929, SPX went down, priced in gold, 86%. It's bonkers, 86%. You think in real terms that can't happen, but it did happen one time here. Look at that, 1970s, after the Nifty 50 bubble just unwound. Look at that, went down 94%, bonker stuff. And look, I didn't measure it here, but it took decades to get back to the 1929 peaks. Here it took 1967 all the way almost to 1995. It took many, many, many years to break even in real terms. And we had it again. The 2000.com bubble went down 88%, guys, price in gold. Look at that. Here's a Bitcoin chart, guys. Look at that. It's been tracking that. So even gold, Bitcoin price in gold tracks SPX price in gold. So what do you think is going to happen from a statistical, probabilistic way if ever this turns down, if ever we get a capital rotation event and it starts unwinding and you can't outperform gold? What do you think is going to happen to Bitcoin in real terms? Thinking that it's going to do different is like betting. It's a low probability bet, guys. You don't want to go that way. You want to focus on the evidence. So just be wary. This is a possibility, right? You got to be aware of the charts. You got to be aware of the evidence. And once that starts rolling over, then you're better in other asset classes. And that's my rant, Kevin.
That's a real food for thought there, Pat, because I think people probably don't take that too seriously. But Bitcoin's relationship to the stock market would need to break in order for that to change, of course. And as you quite rightly say, we have not seen a stock market sort of downturn of 50% plus during the existence of cryptocurrencies so far. One will happen, and when it does, we have to be very wary about what that means for cryptocurrencies. Okay, thank you very much, Pat, for that. And if you like that content and you'd like to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.